Let us look at this video. Of course, a huge success recorded against Fulani militias, against banditry in the axis of Zamfara and Katsina states. I must say this is a good development. This is the type of development we want to be hearing. And of course, I want to believe that if things continue in this manner, very soon, Nigerians will heave a sigh of relief because the communities, the society will be rid of banditry. You watch the video shortly, but meanwhile, let us look at this bold move by this individual and the army in their quest to rescue a kidnapped victim in the eyes of local jail. As you can clearly see on the screen, this tells you that the locals are doing a very good job. And this particular individual have been operating in Delta states, in those states. In fact, his activity is now across states. I think this goes to show that actually we have individuals who are patriotic enough to even put their life on the line. Because seeing an individual joining the military into operation of this nature go to show that there is no limit to what he can do because of patriotism. There is no better way to explain it. It is only patriotism that can even make someone endanger his life, to put his life in the line, to join the military in this type of operation. Because if he is not in the video, as you can clearly see, people will doubt that an individual can do this. I'm going to tell you that this is someone from Delta State. Maybe that is why they say that are not the guerrillas. Because I think his effort is commendable, and we pray that God will crown him and reward him for all his effort in helping the society, the military, to fight insurgency. But meanwhile, before we go into that video, let me quickly bring some areas where, of course, we have seen successes against banditry, against Fulani militia in the recent time. Because I always tell you that each time we see success against banditry, against Fulani militia, we don't waste time in bringing you to your knowledge or to your notice, because that is part of what we make you know and believe that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. This one is coming from Sagasola. He's saying, Army, police raid bandits hideouts in Benue, arrest 6 suspects. That is a good development. This other one is coming from, is tweeted by Punch. He said, police nab suspected bandit collaborators, recover arms in Sokoto. Equally a very good development. This one is coming from Daily Post. The tweet from Daily Post saying, troops of the Nigerian army have arrested 5 suspected bandits in Kwara State. Yes, that is a good development. We understand that Kwara State is an area where the issue of banditry is very high, and we want to believe that the authorities should be doing what is needed to address that level of insecurity. Because you look at the Kwara State currently is the epicenter of banditry in the country. The governor must take note and do the needful, because it behoves on him to protect lives and property. Let us quickly look at this one as well. He's saying at least 20 suspected bandits were either arrested or neutralized by the joint security forces in different operations in Ifelodu local government area last week. They retrieved 6 AK-47 rifles and other weapons. This one is equally in Kwara State, a very good development. And of course, we want to see more of this. But meanwhile, just watch that video as we come back to further this conversation.
The Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State, Ibrahim Meikaba, highlighted the successes recorded by the command in the ongoing fight against banditry, including the rescue of 5 kidnapped victims, the arrest of a gun runner, 2 fabricators of Dane guns, and an illicit drug dealer, as well as the recovery of 4 AK-47 rifles, 228 rounds of live ammunition, and 4 magazines. He told journalists that the rescue of the 5 kidnapped victims followed intelligence from local communities and the divisional police officers of Talata Mafara. Chief Superintendent of Police Garba Mahota led a joint operation with operatives of the Zamfara State Community Protection Guards. They intercepted the victims when their captors were relocating with them from the Bariki Daji forest. through the Maradun local government area of the state, where the police sighted them and engaged them in a gun battle and successfully rescued them.
Our recent breakthroughs are a testament to the dedication, resilience, and professionalism exhibited by our officers and men in the command. 6 male suspects were arrested, including a very notorious bandit. 33 firearms were recovered, was apprehended in Funtua, Katsina State, following a credible intelligence linking him to numerous kidnapping cases across the states. During interrogation, the suspect confessed to have been part of the kidnapping gang terrorizing Safe, Endoto, and Yongwarin Daji. He further admitted to being an active member, a criminal syndicate known for orchestrating high-profile kidnapping within Damba, Mareri, and Saminaka areas in Gusau local government area.
Maikaba explained that on 19 September 2025 at 4:30 p.m., while police operatives were on intensive patrol along the Gusau-Sokoto highway near the Gadabiu, they successfully intercepted and arrested 2 male suspects riding on motorcycles and recovered 18 fabricated firearms from them.
On 20th September 2025 at approximately 11:00 hours during a routine patrol along Gusau-Karanamuda Road, a police team led by DSP Umar Abubakar arrested Haruna Musa, a male, 30 years of age, of Rawaya village in Bungudu local government area. Items recovered from him include 11 fabricated firearms, 25 rounds of AK-47 ammunition, and 6 live cartridges.
So having watched the video, I think it is becoming very clear that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And we want to encourage the authorities to do the needful. To do the needful is to rise to the occasion and protect lives and properties of Nigerians, because the government at all levels must not give excuse. Because whether the president, the governors, the local government chairman, they have also sworn to an oath to protect lives and property. More so, as the constitution have given them the responsibility to do that, because looking at section 14, section 2B of 1999 constitution as amended, very clear, it says that the welfare of the people and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. So I want to believe that the governors are aware of this. And the another issue is the governors should, at a matter of urgency and necessity, key into federal government initiative of forest guard, because that will, in a way, give them the opportunity to command the security architecture in their respective states. Because personally, I've been a very strong advocate that the governors should be given some level of security power to parade. Say that the federal government have come up with this idea of forest guard, I want to believe that it has come to give them that opportunity. So they should jump at it with speed of light. Well, I think this is a very big difference between this administration and the last administration of course, Muhammadu Buhari. Because we understand that in the time of Muhammadu Buhari, it was difficult for security arrangement at the state level to be armed. Because under Muhammadu Buhari, the end user security that normally comes from the Office of National Security Advisor that empowers state arrangement to be armed was not, the government of Muhammadu Buhari was not willing to give out such certificate. Hence, it was difficult for them to address the security. But now that the government is willing and ready, and it even came from the mouth of the president, that the forest guards will be strengthened. I want to believe that the governors should jump at this opportunity. Because as it stands, Nigerians are already being worried of this issue of banditry, and the North in particular must rise to address this issue. Because it is believed in so many quarters that the northern elements, stakeholders, are not doing enough. Because we have seen in the recent past where even a Jonathan yesterday made it very clear that an Ibuari was named to be the negotiator of Boko Haram in the past. And we equally had a situation where even when a Jonathan was the president. His quest to fight Boko Haram had a situation where the then governor, one of the governors in the northern part of the country, talking about Murtala Nyako of Adamawa State, accused his government of genocide against the North. And that was because that government was decisively dealing with Boko Haram at that time. So you begin to wonder, why will someone who once served in the armed forces, someone who knows better, accuse federal government of such? Even in recent time, we have seen the activities of even Shegumi, who of course is a strong advocate of bandits. One, that the federal government should stop using kinetic approach to fight bandits. Even go as far as saying that when the armed forces bomb bandits, that they kill their family members. So you begin to wonder and begin to ask, does it mean the bandits, their family members, hibernate with them in the forest? And if they do, is it not sufficiently enough to say that they are not bandits themselves? So that is a big question for someone like Shegumi to answer. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you stay in the bush with bandits and you claim to be their family member, you are yourself a member of the banditry. This is a man who equally advised his followers before the 2023 presidential election that they should not vote for anyone that will acquire more arms to fight bandits. So we begin to ask again, as someone that's enlightened as Shegumi, who was himself a military officer in the past, to be making such statements. So for me, my position has always been clear that the federal government should ignore such character and move on to acquire monopoly of coercive power, to rule them out of their hiding places, set their running and bring them to justice. Because for me, that's a legitimate thing to do. Because even in the recent past, we have seen a former House of Assembly member from Borno State who came out to clarify that even the Jonathan government was doing excellently well in terms of decimating Boko Haram when the election was postponed for about 2 weeks in 2015. But according to him, the then government brought in mercenaries who were decimating Boko Haram, leveraging on technology. And it was very clear that even those mercenaries were so much active in the activities to the extent that they will bring evidence before and after bombing. So you go to show that the Jonathan administration was actually doing a good job before he was ousted by Muhammad Buhari. But unfortunately, when Muhammad Buhari came in, he jettisoned all the approach, and as we have it, he sent the mercenaries back in, and today we are still battling with the insecurity. Even the issue of our salutary leaders, ISWAP, those ones were not in the picture then. So go to show that even under Muhammad Buhari, we have more proliferation of banditry. Just like Jonathan said, that he was thinking that when the Buhari took over, that it would have been easier for him to negotiate with bandits and bring it to an end, for him to negotiate with Boko Haram and bring it to an end. Boko Haram haven't nominated them to negotiate for them. But as we have it, the Buhari governed for 8 years, and at the end of the day, the whole idea, the whole issue of fighting insurgency is still with the country. And if you go into the area of ideology, because so many people have said that this is ideology based, we even had a situation where even the Jonathan government tried to introduce Almajiri schools as a way of educating the northern children, because that way they will no longer be vulnerable to be radicalized, to be recruited into Boko Haram, into ISWAP and terrorist group and all of that. And as he was uttered out of office, Buhari took over. The Buhari government never saw any reason to continue in that trajectory. And none of the state governments in the north saw it as a good trajectory to continue. So we begin to wonder, begin to ask, what is the interest of northern stakeholders in refusing to educate the downtrodden in the region? But for me, it is quite disturbing and surprising that in some states in the north, we have out of school children as high as 60-something%. In some cases, 50-something%. In some cases, 40-something, 30-something, 20-something, 10, as the case may be. And you're talking about children within the age bracket of 6 and 16 years. And in some cases, this percentage translates into more than 1 million people. Because there's no better way to say it. These are potential Boko Haram members you are breeding, potential bandits you are breeding. So the best way to address it from that identical point of view is ensure that you give the children education so that they can know their right from the wrong. They can differentiate between the good and bad. More so, as those who know much about Islam have come out to clarify that what Boko Haram is doing, bandits are doing, is not in the teaching of Islam. So that is where the likes of Sheikh will have a moral burden to answer some questions. Because if you who is a cleric, a Muslim cleric, you can see in your region how children, people who grow up and turn into banditry. So it means they are faced in their own very responsibility to even educate and mold the society, because they are the one that have that moral burden. Hence, he's a cleric himself. But the issue is, this issue of banditry, terrorism, need to be addressed because it's already a national issue. And the banditry we hideout here happening in the north is already being exported to the southern part of the country. So that is why it's a major concern. That is why all hands must be on deck to ensure that it is eradicated out of the society. As far as I'm concerned, Nigerians deserve to have an environment that is devoid of insecurity. Another major issue is, how do you now woo investors? Because if you look at Nigerian economy, Nigeria as a nation, it has potentials to attract investors. So many areas of human endeavor that investors want to come and explore. Is it in the area of oil and gas? Is it in the area of even power sector, production sector, solid mineral? Almost every area you look to, you have a robust potential to attract investors. But how will investors come in an atmosphere of insecurity as we have it? Where the likes of Tojibelo, Adaleru, Akwashi, wreaking havoc, kidnapping, maiming, and what is already a global village, they see all of this as it's come into the media space. So that is why the likes of Adaleru, Tojibelo, Akwashi, and co must be neutralized in the battlefield or arrested and prosecuted to act a deterrent to others. Just as we saw the arrest of those two Ansar terror leaders recently, I must say it gladdened my heart when they were arrested, because one, it will send strong signal to bandits and others will be bandits. And when we started seeing the prosecution, and we have seen that one of them have been sentenced and jailed for illegal possession of firearms and illegal mining. I must say it was a welcome development, and I will hope that one day, and very soon, not just one day, very soon, that the last of Tojibelo, Akwashi, Adaleru will be arrested to have their own days in court. Because that way, the bandits, other bandits, and other will be bandits will see that it's no longer business as usual. Because for me, the best thing to do is to either neutralize them, arrest them, and prosecute them. Because even the former governor of Katsina State, talking about Manalase Erifai, have made it very clear that bandits do not repent. That the only bandit that have repented is the one that have died. There is no ideology is to disalive them, send them to their creator who have the ultimate power to judge them. And I want to believe that his position is potent and that is the legitimate thing to do. Because these people have no mercy and should not deserve mercy from the federal government. The only thing they deserve is the might of the federal government to rule them out of their hiding places, set them running, and bring them to justice. That is why the government must, as a matter of urgency and necessity, move on to acquire monopoly or currency power to do that. That's why I'm particularly happy when we saw the federal government of Nigeria placing order for about 50 fighter jets, which we understand will be arriving very soon. I want to believe that will go to be a game changer, because however I look at it, it's going to add to the capacity of Nigerian armed forces, particularly the Air Force in their air platform to against in terrorism, insurgency, and all of that. But meanwhile, let me say very big thank you for time. This is Mr. Sabat.